It's all you, man.
Okay. Well, we're going to go after the water pump, I think, first here, and we'll start by pulling the cold air intake, and probably while we're at it, we can get the whole air box. But anyway, the air intake, 310s, here, here, and here. Set those there. Break the hose loose. Need to wedge the air intake up out of there a little. It feels like it could be, hurting that return hose, but it doesn't seem to. And then wiggle the other end out of the air box. That's off. And here's the water pump. It's quite easy access. 5 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all 12mm head, and they come right off, but it's a little, I'll use your term, fiddly, in that it's like working with a timing belt cover on a transverse mounted engine, in that there's just not much room. But anyway, we can unplug the harness right there, and that is ready to come off. I figured out a fairly decent procedure here with the 12s. So I guess we'll start right about here. All right. One broken loose, and there's the ratchet on the floor already. We'll try this one next. Go for the easy ones first, I guess.
All right.
Okay.
Save the challenges for last.
Yeah, get warmed up as you go.
All right.
Now, I actually broke these loose last night, a little dry run, and I'm glad I did, because the 2 lower bolts, the threads were fairly galled, I guess the term would be, and they turned out really hard. It was a really slow process. So I spent some time actually dipping the bolts in ATF and running them back in through the threads and got them all working nice and smooth. So that might just be a tip for anybody who's got, 150 thou or so on theirs. When you go to pull the bolts, you may find it a little tedious unthreading them, and you may want to take some time and just get the threads cleaned up a little bit. Now I'm a pretty small guy. I might need to go to a deep well for that one. I'll grab my 12 there. It's 11. My eyes aren't so bright.
Oh.
My goodness.
Yeah, I can't imagine going after anything back there with the wiper tray on. And the Gen 2 is the same deal.
Yep.
I think a lot of modern vehicles, the Sienna's the same way. You can't,
Pack it in.
you can't clean the throttle body on the Sienna with the wiper tray in there. I suppose you could, but...
It'd be difficult.
And I've read about people doing the rear 3 spark plugs on the Sienna with the wiper tray still in there, but I can't imagine it. You would shred your arms, right to the elbow. My opinion.
These are three bolts. Hold on, 5, I guess.
Oh, there's 10.
Oh, there's some.
There's 10 on the tray itself, and then there's a bracket here with 2 more. And then there's a bunch of other little plastic piddly fasteners that actually secure the plastic part of the tray to the metal part of the tray. So the whole thing is sitting right over there. This very lower bolt here is still, despite my efforts to get it cleaned up really nicely, it's still not turning completely free yet. So it's taking me a second. That's a light from my wife's salon that she runs heat bulbs in. But I throw some LEDs in there, and it works really nice for a shop light. My old halogen shop light died, and I just kind of started using that. Alright, I think I got this one. I'm going to pull it right out, too, while I'm at it, since it's...
It's right there.
Yeah, and it's being not so yeah, since my hand is actually on it, it's one of those things where you
May as well.
figure out how to contort yourself, you may as well.
Bite the bullet.
Ah, there it is. I've gone to some copper anti-seize on it. These bolts actually came out of here last night with a gray anti-seize, so I don't know if that's
If it was an
nickel.
anti-seize or a lock.
It could have been a locker, but boy, it was gray looking, and kind of mealy. Like it could have been a locker though. Absolutely could have been. I suppose. I don't think the torque value is extremely high on these things.
No. About 17 maybe.
Yeah, got it written down.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little while.
Yeah, we will.
It's all good.
Alright.
Headlights are still in good condition though. Mine are.
Yeah, not too
suffering
bad.
the same fate.
The driver's side is a little bit clouded,
Yeah.
but yeah, not too bad. But in honesty, through the warmer months here, I work on them once a month or so with just a standard rubbing compound, and then coat them with regular
Cool.
car wax. And
Stayed pretty nice.
yeah, not bad. But they're garaged. So, you know, the Sienna 2005, the headlights are really good. So I think
How many miles you got on that?
the Sienna is 165 or so.
Broken.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Got it all.
That's been a good vehicle. They're really Lexus-like. They go down the road like just amazing.
That's a difficult one to get to right there.
It really is.
That coil right in the way.
Yep. Yeah, and you don't want to nick the...
The coil.
Yep, exactly. You got it, though. But again here, unless you just happen to have the perfect length, deep or semi-deep 12mm socket, there's just some fiddling here. It's nature of the beast, but difficulty of the job when you consider all you really need to do is pull that cold air intake
And you have
and 5
immediate
bolts,
access,
and you're there, you know.
which is perfect.
Yeah.
165 on that Sienna is really good.
165 on the Sienna.
Tell her how much
All of
you
our-
got on your 4Runner.
Yeah, that
right?
4Runner we have, a 98 4Runner, we got 260 on it.
Right.
It doesn't even burn any oil.
The Sienna either. It's you pull the stick on it, and not to get sidetracked here, but here's a stick pull on this thing. Can you get it?
Yeah, you can see it right at the top, a little bit above the bolt.
That's how it sits, and that's how it will sit at 5,000 when it gets drained. It's never budged from the
Wow.
never. You know, and occasionally, like with the Sienna, it'll have an interval where, for some reason, it's 1/8 of an inch down on the stick, and then other intervals it won't do it at all. That's never budged. So you know,
Cool.
some people say all cars burn some oil, and yeah, I agree with that, but this one doesn't burn a detectable amount.
Cool.
Really psyched about that.
Yeah.
When you read the horror stories.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and even yours, I mean, and yours is not a problem, but
Oh, exactly.
it's nice to...
You
You got one more
I do.
right there.
Yep.
Is there going to be any fluid in that?
I think I have 2 more. Nope, that came loose last night. Again, I dry ran this thing last night. Just out of curiosity. And was glad I did, because I ended up, in trying to clean the threads up and get the bolts working nice and smooth, I ended up screwing around with it for about an hour. And I didn't want to dig into this and look like a total idiot, like I'd never done it before. And
Right? That's all good.
we don't want to do too much of a marathon here today. You guys are gonna go to Oneana tonight.
Cool.
Have we pulled 5? No, we're still one more to go down there somewhere. There it is.
All the way buried?
It's loose.
What do you do for a living, Mike?
I run a tiny, well, it's a romper room operation, property maintenance business. It started out, I've been doing it for about 15 years now.
Oh, good.
And I drove for FedEx prior for almost 15 years there too.
Oh, good.
They moved their operation to Albany,
Okay.
and they kind of moved without me. Came at a time when my kids were at what we thought was a critical stage to have a father.
Yep.
And
Oh, good.
yeah, it was a tough move, and we struggled for, for a few years anyway. But
Good.
yeah.
I'm retired anymore.
Yeah. Now, I'm no chemical engineer, that's for sure. That is for sure.
Get it?
Nope.
What if you go from underneath? What do you think from underneath how access would be? That might be a decent way to get these bottom ones, huh?
Well, being that the under tray is on the car, and it may be, yeah. It very well may be.
That's a jump in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those fasteners can be challenging.
I just need to get the wrench back on the head of this sucker.
I can't get it from that side, I don't think.
I'll get it.
That's all good.
I'll get it.
Just don't know what we're doing tomorrow right now.
Mm-hmm.
What will you be doing tomorrow?
Wheel bearing.
Wheel bearing is something.
Yeah.
I got it sitting right on the shelf in the garage. As soon as I got slowed down here to get off you could hear it.
Oh, hopefully.
Thank you.
Sienna looks nice.
I can see it.
It's a challenging one. It's right there.
Yep. There it is.
It's right there.
Yep.
Burn wood, Mike?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
3/4 year.
That's about, I put a combination wood and oil furnace in 40 years ago in my house, dual thermostat and all.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, I'm thinking the black carbon from all the heat exchangers and everything is probably getting thin. So I bought a new one. And the new one you can burn coal too.
Yep.
It's got shakeable oil that works nice.
Yep. Awesome.
Yukon.
We are running an old school Vermont Castings 77 model Vigilant,
Uh-huh.
and it heats the place with ease, but it's an old, and what wood burners call a smoke dragon.
Oh,
It's a dirty stove, and we're actually in the process right now of researching and buying something new, and I think we're going to go with a little company out of New Hampshire called Woodstock Soapstone, and they make these hybrid catalytic secondary burn stoves.
yeah.
Burn really clean.
That didn't
And
come out that way?
yep, oh yeah. And for all intents and purposes, we should be able to get through the winter on about half the wood
Yeah.
in the same heat.
Good.
So there it is. This one appears to be perfect working order. Now if you want, we can plug this back in and fire it with TechStream. I don't know if that's something that the group may find
I
interesting.
might find it interesting, yeah.
I don't, like I say, makes no difference to me. But I've got the computer right here. Let's see, plug this sucker back in. Get it in a situation where we can see it. Maybe something like that.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, beautiful.
Let me get this computer fired up. You might want to set the camera down.